What if one person decided to reinvent how we travel, how we reach space, and how we think about the future? What if that person looked at humanity's greatest problems and said, not someone else's job, mine? That person exists, and whether you love him or hate him, you cannot ignore him. This is the story of Elon Musk.
June 28, 1971. A boy is born in Pretoria, South Africa. While other kids played outside, young Elon sat alone, reading encyclopedias, science books, anything he could find. He wasn't reading for fun. He was searching for answers. By age 12, he had taught himself to code, written a video game, and sold it for $500. But South Africa couldn't hold him. At 17, he left, moving to Canada, then transferring to the University of Pennsylvania, where he earned degrees in both physics and economics. He was accepted into a PhD program at Stanford University. He showed up, enrolled, and quit 2 days later. The internet was exploding, and Elon Musk was not the kind of man who watches a revolution from the sidelines.
It was 1995. Most people didn't even have email. But Musk saw what was coming. He co-founded Zip2, helping newspapers build an online presence. 4 years later, it sold for nearly $300 million. Musk's share? $22 million. He was 27. Most people retire at 27 with $22 million. Elon Musk started over. He built an online bank called X.com, which eventually became PayPal. In 2002, eBay bought it for $1.5 billion. Musk walked away with $165 million. 2 exits, hundreds of millions in the bank. Any rational person stops there. But Musk sat down and asked himself one question. Not what can make me richer, but what problems, if left unsolved, will end humanity? He came up with 2 answers. Fossil fuels are destroying the planet, and humanity lives on one fragile rock with no backup plan. He decided to fix both at the same time with his own money. In 2002, Musk founded SpaceX with one goal: make space travel affordable and eventually colonize Mars. The aerospace industry laughed. No private citizen had ever launched a rocket into orbit. Musk had to teach himself rocket science from textbooks. He hired brilliant engineers and started testing. The first launch failed. The second failed. The third failed. Each failure burned millions. SpaceX was days from bankruptcy. Then came the 4th attempt, September 28, 2008. The Falcon 1 ignited, climbed, and reached orbit. SpaceX became the first private company in history to successfully launch a liquid-fueled rocket into Earth's orbit. In 2002, Musk founded SpaceX with one goal: make space travel affordable and eventually colonize Mars. The aerospace industry laughed. No private citizen had ever launched a rocket into orbit. Musk had to teach himself rocket science from textbooks. He hired brilliant engineers and started testing. The first launch failed. The second failed. The third failed. Each failure burned millions. SpaceX was days from bankruptcy. Then came the 4th attempt, September 28, 2008. The Falcon 1 ignited, climbed, and reached orbit. SpaceX became the first private company in history to successfully launch a liquid-fueled rocket into Earth's orbit. But while he stared at the stars, he hadn't forgotten the Earth. In 2004, Musk became lead investor of a small electric car company called Tesla Motors. By 2008, Tesla was collapsing, weeks from shutdown. Musk took every dollar he had left, money borrowed from friends, and put it all in.
He later admitted he was broke, sleeping on couches, running 2 dying companies simultaneously. Both survived. Tesla launched the Roadster, then the Model S, a luxury sedan that shattered every assumption about electric cars. Then came the Model 3, one of the best-selling vehicles on the planet.
Under Musk, Tesla didn't just build cars. It built charging networks, solar panels, home batteries, and autonomous driving technology. It forced every major automaker on Earth to go electric, not because they wanted to, but because they had no choice. In 2025, Tesla shareholders approved a $1 trillion performance-based compensation plan for Musk, one of the largest in corporate history. The man sleeping on couches in 2008 had become the architect of a $1 trillion empire.
And still, this was not enough. In 2016, he founded Neuralink, developing brain-computer interfaces to connect the human mind directly to machines. That same year, the Boring Company began drilling tunnels beneath cities for fast underground transportation. In 2022, he bought Twitter for $44 billion, rebranded it X, and called it a global town square for free speech.
And in 2023, he launched xAI, his own artificial intelligence company, home to a chatbot called Grok. Aerospace, automotive, neuroscience, infrastructure, social media, artificial intelligence. The man doesn't diversify his portfolio. He diversifies his civilizations. By 2026, Elon Musk is the wealthiest person on Earth, over $726 billion, nearly triple the second richest person alive. In 2025, he briefly led the U.S. Department of Government Efficiency under President Donald Trump, before resigning, polarizing as ever. Because that is Elon Musk, brilliant and chaotic, visionary and volatile. A man who makes promises that sound insane and then keeps them.
From a quiet boy in Pretoria reading encyclopedias alone, to the man whose rockets break the sound barrier, whose cars fill the highways, whose satellites light up the sky. He doesn't think in quarters, he thinks in centuries. He thinks about whether humanity will still exist in 1,000 years, and what he can do right now to make sure it does. You may admire him, you may distrust him, but when the history of this era is written, his name will be on every page.